There we are.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Turn that.
Oh no! I was about to turn the game on to hate watch if y'all can't tell, and I can't turn the volume down on my TV. Everything's gone wrong over here. Do the intro.
Welcome to the Down East Sports College Football Show. I am Jacob Miller. He is Paul Phillips, and we are back after an interesting game, so to speak, against the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Nothing happened to either of us before, after, or during the game.
No.
Never.
Allegedly, stuff might have happened, but
allegedly.
No, allegedly.
But I had some general takeaways from the game. Kind of run through it. NC State jumps off to a 17-0 start. I think they scored first in the second half as well. Started to turn it on there late third quarter and throughout the fourth. An interesting play call, so to speak, on 4th and 1. I completely lost my train of thought there. But
I was wondering where that was going. You pulled it together.
I got there eventually. This might be a concussion game.
You've heard of the Jordan flu game. This is the Paul just ate dinner game and Jacob is dying game.
But I thought all in all, I tried to look for something. Couldn't really find anywhere that presented me said stat, but it really seemed like the middle of our defense was a problem all game. They exploited, which we ran. It looked like we ran a good bit of zone, but it just anything between the hashes, we were getting smoked.
I don't really have anything else to that or else to add to that.
Exactly how the defense kind of settled down a little bit after Smothers' big run in the first drive of their game. Held them to a field goal there. Obviously, they tack on 14 more. But what do you think? What do you think about the play calling?
I was thinking about this earlier today. The one word that kind of came to mind for me was just unimaginative. Where I feel like you look at least certain parts of last season, especially the second half, once Harrell became the coach and gave Baker a little bit more freedom, it felt like, in the play calling department. It was just more fun, honestly, as far as how different things were at certain times, and it felt like we were just all we wanted to do was run the ball at certain times. And keep in mind, this game is a bit blurry to me for reasons we will not mention. So my
I've
memory
had to
could be off
rewatch
a
it a
little
few
bit.
times, Paul. I've had to rewatch it a few times.
I've done that a little bit. But yeah, I feel like it was, in 2 words, it was Donnie Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, a little
That's
bit.
that's a very broad takeaway. I just, because all I wanted them to do was throw the ball until the end of the game when uh,
Yeah, I gotta.
words don't work for how I
Yeah,
feel about the end of that game and the play calling as a whole.
yeah, we'll get that. I thought the play calling was interesting. I won't say it was bad nor good. I thought trying to get the Smiths of the world and later in the game, which actually worked, Spalding on the outside had some big plays. The swing passes, the screens weren't necessarily bad ideas, bad concepts, trying to get playmakers in open field situations where they can make guys miss. But I had more of an issue with the lack of creativity in which it was called. And I think very highly of JDB. And I think maybe he is being held back in the creativity department a little bit. It is week 1. You don't want to show too much, but running a screen with one blocker and everyone else kicking outside there to numbers into the boundary typically isn't a great idea.
No.
It's just as basic as it gets.
Well, and what you say about you don't want to show everything necessarily or show too much. You got to win the football game.
Yeah, when you're playing an in-state rival,
especially when
I rank number 12 in the country, so it is a good loss.
That's facts. That's our RPI's through the roof right now. But
we might get a home regional. Stopped you in your tracks.
God, I lost my train of thought. That threw me way off.
But here, just to kind of continue beating the dead horse, but just would like to see a little more creativity, a little less, hey, let's run into the boundary here. All right, if we're going to try to run to open space, let's run to open space. Thought the tight ends had a great game. It wasn't all doom and gloom. There were some things that I thought were concerning. The right side of the offensive line, namely one. We're going to have a tune-up game before we have to play BYU, and we'll get there eventually. But I thought not on defense, it got better as the game progressed, but we definitely struggled in our run fits. Just a bunch of plays, but whether it was Smothers or if it was CJ, that they got outside and contain was broken. We got 2 guys hitting the C gap at the same time. No one's trying to force the ball back in. It's a problem Alabama had this weekend as well.
Yeah, ain't lying.
I'd like to see our defense hunt a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Look for work, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, just something. Same with the wide receivers when it comes to blocking. Like, hey, I know you make your money catching the ball.
That's not the only job you got.
Yeah, if I'm head coach, I'm preaching to the guys. You want playing time? Block.
Yeah.
Block. What did State miss? 2, 3 field goals? I know 2 for sure.
That's where my brain was. Let me pull it back up real quick.
Do you think? I don't even think. I'm sure you. How do you think the game would have gone differently had they have made those 2 field goals?
I mean, it's a lot more difficult for us to get back in that game, thinking of how we played the game in the position we were in. But I think what it would have done is potentially given us the, I guess, mental freedom to kind of open it up a little bit in the playbook. And maybe we would have gotten that imaginative play calling. Granted, it probably would have been more of a desperation kind of role. I think, at the end of the day, we score late to make it a 7-point game. I don't think a win comes from it necessarily. But I don't know. I it's really hard to predict how it would have gone. But I like to think, like I said, I like to think that it would have, the imaginations would have been flowing a little bit more. Also, he missed 2 field goals. He was 1 for 3.
All right. I do think NC State's inability to make field goals within a reasonable range. I think they were both under 40 yards or right at 40 yards.
I believe so. I know the only make he had was 29.
So, I mean, very makeable. I wonder, because I think you saw it on that last drive a little bit too, and it's something we saw last year against this same team that we leaned on the run a little bit. I wonder if we would have tried to go a little more downfield. It seemed like, especially in the second half, Hauser settled down. If I was more of an athlete and less of a former athlete, I'd stand up and show some of the things I'm going to talk about. But I'll stick to the couch.
Yeah. Armchair coordinator.
Very much so. I mean, backup JV quarterback. I definitely know what I'm talking about. It did seem he held the ball a little bit in the first half. I did really like his rhythm in the second half and how on time he was with his throws. He was hitching the ball a good bit in the first half. He seemed to trust his eyes way more as the game progressed. The big shot to the tight end, sprawling on the sideline. There was another big shot across the middle, which they were running cover 3. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But, good read, got the ball, put it in tight windows, which he's been good at. I'd have loved – I don't want to see the kid get hurt, and you got to limit it, but I'd like to see him run the ball more.
Yeah. I feel like the thought process in that regard is kind of us maybe pigeonholing ourselves, and we don't need to, considering we do have a Mike Wright who is listed as a quarterback but is basically our run guy. When he comes in, everyone knows what's about to happen, or at least has some sort of idea. I agree with you that I feel like, which, I mean, to be fair, he was our second leading rusher. Hauser was.
I mean, he did. That's why, I mean, I felt like late in that game, maybe on that 4th down play, you lean on him, but I have a different take about the 4th down play.
What might that be?
I was about to say, if you want to jump, let me pull my notes back up just so I make sure I get this exactly right. They came in what I believe was a 6-man front, a 5 or 6-man front, 2 linebackers creep down. Everything was down. The box was loaded, to put it lightly. And we ran, I'm going to put this a little bit on the play call and a little bit on the route. If you're running that route to the flat, get to the flat.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran straight down the line of scrimmage. You got to get down in distance here.
Yeah, we need sticks at minimum.
You need sticks. The other thing I don't like here that I've said a few times already, it was to the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
It is to the boundary. I don't get, you're in that tight look. You have 2 tight ends back off the line of scrimmage. You have both your wide receivers on the ball. You're running a little hitch with the receiver and to rub that corner as he runs to the flat. I don't get why you don't do that. If that's what you want to do it to the right side. Now, in my opinion, everyone and their mother thought you were going to run the ball.
Yeah.
Why not throw it over the middle?
Yeah.
Why not give your quarterback options? If you still, hey, run him to the flat. Let's put that receiver on a slant.
We could be looking at 6.
Yeah. I mean, the ball game might end differently. And obviously these guys make a lot more money than the both of us and know a lot more about football than the both of us.
They've forgotten more than the 2 of us will ever know.
But I just find it very, very intriguing that we didn't do anything in particular.
Yeah. Options, like you said, would have been
to give Caden Hauser options.
Well, I'm just saying, give him receiving options.
You gave him one option because all that read was a pick play. That's all it was, or the hitch rather. All it was a pick play.
I mean, you got to think if all of that pressure, all that heat is coming straight down your throat, basically. Like you said, the middle of the field somewhere has got to be open.
To be open. And if you
And
can go
I
back
know
and
an extra option takes away one of those threats potentially, but still.
I wish I could pull up the all 22 or even pull out just a video without getting just copyrighted to holy high hell.
Yeah.
And just watch the two linebackers. They don't even consider the balls being thrown. They, as soon as he says hut, there's 7-8 guys coming downhill.
Everybody knew we were running the ball until we didn't run the ball, and it really didn't matter.
Yeah. All that to be said, if the line to gain was the 8 and he got hit at the 8, just saying.
We'll leave it at that.
Just saying. I don't know if you have anything else to say about the NC State game. We can move into the rest of the slate if you're.
I really don't. I mean, I thought, just speaking in generalities as a whole, for the most part, we looked good. Obviously, the running game has
some more to be desired.
It has plenty of questions that need to be answered this weekend against Campbell. And if we need to get some last-minute answers before we turn the test in at Coastal, then that's fine. But I don't want to go into that game having a whole bunch of question marks, especially leading into BYU the next weekend. But I don't want to look too far ahead. But just I feel like defensively, what we said last week was there were question marks all over that defense. All in all, I'm well pleased with how he played defensively. And
I think, the end result was good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's never good, like when you lose a football game, but there were a lot of positives to take away from it, and so I'm not dragging my head in shambles about this result.
Definitely not dissatisfied. I mean, both of us had, hey, we covered.
Yeah, exactly.
We both had it within the number.
Exactly.
Like you said, there's some things to be cleaned up. We had a bunch of question marks on defense. I think, I don't know how good NC State is, but I think those two wide receivers are pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was 3 catches NC State made that, I mean, just lockdown coverage, ball placement couldn't have been better, and the receiver made a better play. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, Noah Rogers only had 2 catches in that game too.
Yeah.
I mean, they get him more involved. Between him and Justin Jolie and Wesley Grimes shocked me. I didn't think he was going to do much of anything, and he leads him in receiving and has a touchdown catch. So fair play to them, but the outlook of their season's a little weird. Just sidebar, just because I think that there's plenty of talent on that team, but I also don't think, at least in our game, they didn't look extremely cohesive. I know a lot of State fans who were not exactly pleased with that game, and then they got a feisty Virginia team coming to town.
Yeah, that's curious if that will be touched on when we get into the slate later on.
Exactly. But that was just a quick look ahead. It's very tough to predict what that team's going to look like, but I think it's equally as difficult to predict what we're going to look like immediately and down the road. So
yeah.
But definitely. I don't know. Again, positives to take from that game, but obviously not a positive result.
Yeah. Well, we'll hop in a little bit to the week 1 slate. We'll start off noon Saturday. Texas at Ohio State, the chosen one, the prodigal nephew. It's not really a son.
Well, he is a son, just not Peyton's or
just not of the good ones. Goes into the shoe, and it plays what I think is the best secondary in the country, and pretty much showed him. Arch didn't play well. I think Ohio State have some positives on offense, definitely a defense to be reckoned with the rest of the year. Are you buying or selling on Arch Manning right now?
At this point, with how that performance went, I have no choice but to buy right now, I feel like. I mean, if everyone's going to sell their stock, why not? I mean, he is he is Arch Manning. Obviously, that was not everything that we had necessarily imagined it would be on Saturday, and there's honestly nothing really that he did, because there were some concerning aspects of his game that very much came to light. But if everyone's going to sell, I feel like I got to buy right now.
I think I'm in a similar position. I think, like you said, just buy it low. I mean, they've got a couple tomato cans in a row. He's got a couple games to figure this out before he's got to go to Athens. He's got some mechanical things to work on. He's inexperienced, and you just got to give him time. Same being said on the other side with Sayin. Is it Junior Sayin?
Julian Sayin.
Julian Sayin. I think we saw a lot of good things from him as well. Or, well, not as well, but we saw a lot of good things from him. But, Texas's defense also shut them down as well. Get into one of the more fun games to talk about. Alabama went into Tallahassee. And
they sure did.
I think someone gave out a bunch of Alabama jerseys at like a party city in Tallahassee and was like, here, go play football.
That's what it felt like.
I've never seen anything that bad.
That was
from a team that wears
terrible.
crimson.
What's funny is Ty Simpson led the game in passing. You know who the leading rusher in the game was?
I'm going to guess Tommy
Castellanos, leading rusher in the game. Also just dismantled that defense.
I don't know if Jake's in here, but former BC kid. He might be short, but kid can run, and kids got some swagger to him.
He proved me way wrong. He was electric.
Obviously, all the doubts on Alabama right now, so we'll exclude that. I think everything that's been said about Alabama, we'd just be echoing what everyone's said. What do you think this means for Florida State, a team that went 2-10 last year, moving forward?
I think that it gives – I feel like what they lacked last year, what stemmed from results earlier in the season, is just they had a gigantic lack of confidence. Now they go do that at their home stadium. That place is jumping. They go beat the I guess they were number 8 team in the country at the time. They feel like they can probably beat anybody right now, which is all that anyone needs to go play at Florida State. Is just the mentality that, hey, we're Florida State. Let's go out here and play like Florida State. I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm in the process of pulling up their schedule right now, but I feel like, it's hard to base it off one result, but you got to feel like the sky's the limit, at least in their brain, until you get to, week 5, I guess, or whatever date that is against Miami. But you get that game at home, and then all you really got left, you got a frisky Pitt team, but then you're at Clemson, which is tough. Then you finish the season at Florida. Those are the notable games on that schedule. It would not shock me at all to see the way that they played. If they can continue that on both sides of the ball, I don't see why they can't shock a whole bunch of people and end up in Charlotte for the ACC championship game.
Yeah, they're definitely the ACC as a whole, I think, looks a lot more formidable than it did heading into week 1 compared to after week 1.
Definitely.
I don't really have much more to say on that. Do we want to get into the late kick?
Yeah.
Well, I said it last week.
Ready.
That I made a bold proclamation about what Clemson was going to do to LSU. And if I was wrong, I'd let a certain person have 5 minutes to just do God knows what. Hopefully he keeps it at least PG-13.
That's all we need.
Just at a minimum. So in honor of me saying Clemson was going to destroy LSU, and LSU had no defense, and their new offensive line is going to get crushed by this Clemson D-line. Well, it was actually the inverse. And I'll let him take it away. Go ahead, Zach.
First off, I want to start by saying thanks for having me on the show. I'm very glad that I was able to get on here and have an opportunity to talk about this game, because this was a great game. And for an SEC team playing a non-SEC team, this was probably the most classic SEC game that was played in the entire week one. Defense won LSU that game. I don't think there's anything to argue about, anything to debate about. Maybe you could say Garrett Nussmeier, but defense won LSU that game. And as an LSU fan, because I wanted to put my perspective on this, my kind of POV as an LSU fan, there's not a lot of hope going on in Baton Rouge these days. I didn't have high hopes for Brian Kelly. I know some other fans did. I didn't personally. This is the most hopeful we have been since 2020. And to bring that up as well, I was looking through the stats. LSU hasn't won their first game since 2019. And for people that watch ball a lot, 2019, we won the national championship. So that did numbers for me, and I know a bunch of other fans that I've talked to about this game. But to get into the actual specifics of the game, I think that momentum really carried this game because there was a lot of times where Clemson could have taken the momentum right after a turnover, and all they ended up with, and this was on the first turnover, was a field goal at best. They never scored on those turnovers. And I think that the second that Clemson kicked that field goal, I want to say 2 minutes into the third quarter, and missed it, that was when you saw the actual big momentum shift. And it shifted from Clemson has this game in the bag because they were winning. They were driving on us. They were playing good. It shifted from that to LSU has a chance. LSU is playing good. And like I said, I'll say it again, defense won us that game. That was a very SEC football game. And to comment on offense a little bit, I loved the play calling. I thought the play calling was very similar to a Les Miles. It was very dynamic. A lot of different people got the ball. I mean, we had the backup quarterback going out there running the ball. We had Xavier Thomas, a wide receiver, going out there and throwing the ball. We had Xavier Thomas also go out there and get a big rush to pick up a big first down. It was very dynamic, spread out play calling. So I was glad to see a Les Miles style offense and a Nick Saban style defense. And that's pretty much all I have to say other than go Tigers. I hope we keep the momentum going. We have a very hard schedule. I have it pulled up right now. We play number 13 Florida, number 20 Ole Miss, number 10 South Carolina, number 19 Texas A&M, number 21 Alabama, and number 18 Oklahoma. So we have a very hard schedule to get through, and this is just the beginning, but I'm glad to see LSU start with some momentum finally. Instead of trying to dig themselves out of that hole, they're standing at the precipice of it. And that's pretty much all I have to say, unless y'all have any other comments about it.
Well, can I mention one thing when you were talking about the schedule? If you go back and look at those opponents again, yeah, they're all ranked teams, at least at this moment they are. Why can't you run the table against that?
We can, but I think we need to not get too cocky and not let this win against this number 4 Clemson kind of cloud our minds. I think we need to come in with the same mission statement we had against Clemson. Play good defense, spread the ball out, capitalize on turnovers, and just kind of keep that same mindset. I don't think we need to come into any game cocky.
No.
I think humility is the only way we can get through the schedule. And we do have some cupcakes in there, like Louisiana Tech next week, Southeastern Louisiana in a couple weeks, Western Kentucky at the end of the year. We do have those cupcakes, but I think that we need to approach every game the way we approach that Clemson game. Hey, this is going to be a hard game. We need to be smart. We need to be slow. Slow is efficient, and efficient is fast.
Very curious on what happens in Baton Rouge week 3 when the Gators come to town, just because I'm high on them. I think LSU had a great offensive game plan in the second half. I think Zach was spot on with the momentum thing. I think a wise coach down in Athens once said, you look at the stats in the 8 minutes before the end of the first half and the 8 minutes after the first half, and which team has the lead after those 16 minutes, and they win. I can't remember what the exact percentage was, but it was 60+% of the time. And you look at what happened at the end of the half with LSU, got a little bit of momentum, kind of lost it there for a second. Like he said, the missed kick, and all of a sudden LSU's down the field and we got us a ball game. I also think you guys got screwed out of a touchdown. So
yeah.
Should have won by 2 scores.
This game could have been 27-10. It probably should have been.
A win's a win. We'll take it.
But
Oh, yeah.
I think, all the hype coming from myself and many others of Clemson's D-line, I think they got outclassed in that game. I think LSU had the better D-line. Was Clemson's D-line giving LSU's offensive line some pressure and making it uncomfortable for Garrett? Yeah. Garrett, if he ain't the best quarterback in, I'll say the SEC, because I think that also means the country. He's either one or number two, and I think we're about to talk about the guy that's either number one or number two right there with him. But looking forward at it, like Zach said, looking through that schedule, you get really lucky with your away games. You catch Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but let's see what Alabama looks like. I think that's in like week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss on the road, that'll be tough. But outside of that, I think you get Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, and I have takes about Oklahoma, but I'll save that for the preview.
Two more things that y'all's points just made me bring up about the momentum specifically to compare to another purple and gold team. I think that's something that ECU didn't capitalize on because they started gaining momentum towards the end of the first half, and I think they completely screwed it up. I think the play calling in the last 2 minutes of the first half was terrible for ECU. And another thing is brain farting on my second point. Maybe that was the only point I had. I remember now.
There we are.
I think Jacob was right about one thing that he said last week about our team. I still question our offensive line. There's a lot of times where Garrett Nussmeier was under extreme pressure, and I don't think he should have been in that given scenario. I think we need to do a lot better of guarding against a four-man rush on the offensive line.
Well, you get a tomato can this week to clean some things up before Florida comes into town. Zach, I appreciate you not talking too much shit towards my wrong take, but appreciate having you on, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. The honor was mine,
here, man.
Hey,
yeah.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, later, dog.
We gotta get him on here a little more often. What insight that was.
I gave him a little warning that I was going to be true to my word, and he held up his end of the bargain.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll lead us into the two big Sunday. Well, not everyone might think they were two big games. I thought they were two very intriguing games. USC
Definitely.
and Vatech in the Dome. Sluggish first half. But in the second half, we see a guy that could give Garrett a run for his money on being a number one overall pick this year. Lenoris Sellers. I know this is your second favorite school as of Thursday around 11:30 p.m. I'll let you take the wheel a little bit here.
Honestly, for a while, it felt like the Lenoris hype was maybe unwarranted from like kind of in those middle two quarters. I was like, all right, like kind of like, where is he? But then, I mean, you saw early on in that game, first drive, the offense marches down the field, easy touchdown. I think 16-yard rushing touchdown for Lenoris, and then later in the last quarter to quarter and a half of that game, he comes back alive again. You saw one of my favorite players in the country, my favorite player on that team, finally do something. Nick Harbor, just go.
Yeah.
And then just a beautiful ball from Lenoris and on what iced the game basically. Honestly, offensively, I think they were fine. I think they definitely had chances to, or could have put themselves in chances to put more points on the board. But I mean, you end up with 24. That's perfectly fine against what I think is a pretty solid defense that kept them in that game a lot longer than they probably should have been, considering the way their offense played. But speaking of defense, I was very impressed with South Carolina's defense, top to bottom throughout that game. Virginia Tech scored how many touchdowns?
Wasn't it just why am I brain farting now? Don't do that to me, Paul.
I'm giving you the answer on the screen.
Oh, 0. I thought that's right. He didn't. Yeah, no, it was
0 touchdowns allowed by that defense, to my recollection. Unless I'm talking out of turn here, but I don't think they gave up a touchdown the whole time because they had the safety, and then it was just field goals the rest of the way. I think it was 3 field goals and safety.
Right, yeah, I can check.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, they lost a lot of dudes, both offensively and defensively, but like most notably on that defense, those boys came to play. There were a couple of dudes flying all around that field, and obviously, it's a Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer, whichever Beamer you want it to be, coached football team is more often than not going to win the special teams, and we saw that with South Carolina's first punt return for a touchdown since what? It had been at least 10 years. Somewhere in the 2011 to 2014 range, I want to say.
I thought 2014 was what I thought I remember them saying.
But I mean,
and the look on Shane Beamer's face when they scored on that was just priceless. Another team that was owed one more touchdown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know in what world that's not
what
a
is
touchdown.
A touchdown at this point? We've become the college football has become the NFL.
Hey, it was week 1 for officiating too. They got some stuff to iron out across the country. That was egregious on many plays because the same play, honestly, it was in the touchdown that Texas ended up getting against Ohio State. That one was kind of more egregious than in the LSU game and in the South Carolina game, except the Texas one is the one that gets called a touchdown. The other two get called back. Yeah, I don't really know what to think of that. That game, like you said, you could have had another 7 tacked onto it or so, at least a 3 maybe if you're not going to get the touchdown. At least maybe we get another down and we march down a little bit and kick a field goal, something. But I don't know. I was pleased with how they played. I think Virginia Tech has a lot of questions to answer, most notably at quarterback. I think the Kyron Drones hype is officially dead. I don't know what position or what sport he thought he was playing for most of that game, but it sure wasn't quarterback or football.
Yeah, it was. You saw a little bit of what you saw from him last year, just that indecisiveness, and then I need to throw the football.
Yeah,
and a lot. It leads to turnovers a lot of the time.
Exactly, and he's one of the more athletically gifted quarterbacks in the country, I'd say, with his feet. Yeah, and I feel like he could use that in more situations to bail himself out, and just at least from my perspective, I didn't see
or your
much of that at all. I mean, he threw for 221, but a guy like that with the wheels that he has, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he could absolutely run somebody over. I mean, 12 carries, but for 26 yards. I mean,
yeah.
Bring that number down maybe a little bit and kind of pick your times, but also don't be too scared to do it and just have to throw the ball away.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was my take on it. But
I agree with you. We'll do one more game here before we get into the ECU Campbell preview. The last big game of last weekend, because I don't really feel like talking about UNC just getting shellacked.
I feel like laughing about it, but I've done that, so we can move on. Can move on.
It's the greatest first drive of they were winning a national title for one drive.
Oh, yeah.
And then they didn't complete a pass for, an hour and 20 minutes?
I think they thought they were winning the Super Bowl. They got Bill Belichick and said,
did you see he's not allowing Patriots scouts at practices now?
Really?
I'm being dead serious. All right, but back on topic.
What
Notre
is going
Dame at
on
Miami. You have any takeaways from Notre Dame, Miami?
Nothing super concrete or specific, but I'll eat my words on Miami all day long. I mean, I wasn't super high on either of these teams coming in. I can't remember. I might have actually picked Miami to win this game. I really don't remember. Just because this game it felt like two teams that were due for a regression, and they both might be. Carson Beck looks like a damn good quarterback right now. I cannot.
Yeah, Carson Beck looked like he did the first season at Georgia. He seemed to, trust his eyes again. He was a guy that just destroyed the zone his first year at UGA. Didn't look that way last year. I I think the drops had a lot to do with that and him losing confidence. He seems to got his swagger back a little bit. My biggest takeaway, though, actually comes from Miami's defense that I thought wouldn't be crap. Stopped a very physical football team from running the football. They made Notre Dame one-dimensional, and I think this quarterback is for them is going to end up being legit.
Oh, yeah. Carr showed flashes.
Being said, the man looks like a baller.
He showed some flashes of potential greatness.
Like, just give him. He's going to get tested a lot this year, but the kid can play.
Yep.
But in the second half, Miami's defensive line really made a difference, and I think Notre Dame could have fed Love a little more, but
a lot more.
Well, yeah, but even when they did, he was still getting stuffed. And plus, I mean, Love had his hand stuck on the Y on the controller. He just wanted to
jump
anybody and everybody.
That was a very I want to be on Sports Center game from Jeremiah Love. To be fair, if you're Jeremiah Love and that's the amount of touches you're getting in the game, why not? At least try to make it memorable. I mean, he needed to get at least twice as many carries as he got. I can't remember what he finished with, but
I can't remember. But
he had 10 carries for 33 yards. How is he not getting
at
least 20 carries a game?
Especially when they come out and say he's going to be the feature back. That's not a feature back to me.
Exactly. I mean, for a lot of people, he was a long shot sleeper Heisman pick.
He was somebody I was thinking about sprinkling on.
Oh, me too. And then here we are, not even really his own fault. They're just they're not even misusing him. They're just not using him.
Not using him.
You give him the ball. 10 carries for Jeremiah. CJ Carr had more carries. I guess. I mean, sacks probably factor into that, but I mean, you got to give the ball to one of the best players in the country if he just so happens to be on your team.
I will say my one last takeaway from the game, though, is Cristobal's still going to Cristobal because he did tried to let Notre Dame back into that game multiple times.
Begging for them to at least tie it up.
Hey, come on. Let's send this thing to overtime. Why don't we? You want to see me lose this game in the last 5 minutes again, don't you?
I think if they had given Jeremiah Love 5 more carries, Cristobal would have shut down, and it would have been a 2-score Notre Dame win.
Oh, well, that's all I got on the week 1 recap. I don't know about you.
That's really all I got. Let me look and see if I got any other. I know I don't have any more notes, but just look at the schedule, see if something catches my eye. Can we laugh at Wake for a second?
About 1 point win over Kennesaw? The mighty Kennesaw State, who gives a hoot owls?
10-9. Over betters. I'm sorry. Also, another team I want to point and laugh at and also express my disappointment in them. What has gotten into K-State?
Not the K-State we used to know and love.
I know North Dakota's a good football team, but albeit a close loss in Ireland in just one of the sloppiest games I've ever seen to Iowa State. But then you turn around and do that in your home opener. Avery Johnson did not look anything like super special. His brother and father definitely didn't help him out at all. I mean, that was a train wreck. I found myself, I was sitting there watching that game, pulling so hard for North Dakota. I was like, please, just go ahead and end them already. But now somehow this team is 1-1 and should be 0-2 with a loss to an FCS team. I think that's really all I got, aside from just a couple other just horrible football games.
Well, we'll jump into it.
Yeah.
What we got going on here Saturday in Greenville. We'll see how my head feels Saturday. I might come join you in the Belk lot.
You better. I'm gonna come pick you up whether you want me to or not. I'll drag your ass out the
house. Facing the mighty Camels from Campbell. If you were to take a guess on where they are picked to finish in the Coastal Athletic or Coastal Atlantic Association or something like that.
It was the Colonial Athletic Association. Now it's the Coastal, because apparently Colonial, we can't say that. I also looked at it.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how good the CAA is, but if that's your 10th best team, good Lord.
It's got something to say.
I mean, that's a pretty damn good Rhode Island team. That they went out. They had the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they were up 7. They were up either 17-7 or 20-7. I tried to find highlights. There was a 3-minute video, and that was it. Or the whole game. Right. I could have watched the whole game.
I mean,
I have much better things to do than to spend 3 hours watching Rhode Island and Campbell football.
But I mean, even if you look at it at face value, that was what, a top 10, top 15, I think, team in the country in FCS in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island went 11-3 last year.
Yeah, they kind of bullied them for a lot of that game.
Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island won the conference last year and went, I think, 11-3.
Yeah.
So the fact that they hung with them the way they did.
I mean, from what I could tell, they just. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. From what I could tell, they just kind of ran out of steam in that game and just kind of got out talented or out coached, whatever it may have been. But for their level of competition and the opponents that they'll be playing, and I think they'll give some people fits.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't expect one of those teams that's going to have fits with them to be the East Carolina Pirates.
East Carolina Pirates. I forgot to write down the spread, and I'm desperately trying to find it right now, and I'm starting to think there might not be one.
I'll tell you what. You don't even need a spread. You just need to know one guy to look out for with this Campbell team. He's not that good. I don't think he had a 50% completion percentage last game. He might have. He just barely threw for 100 yards. But this is the name of a guy that I could just see killing us. And we're in the same boat as Rhode Island late in the fourth quarter, and it's tied or something like that. Camden 6 killer. Let me say that again. Camden with a K, 6 killer. What a name that is.
It's FCS all-name team.
That's got to give him +5 to his overall if FCS teams were in the college football game. I'm scared for this kid. I don't think he's very good at all. I'm worried for this kid just solely based off his name.
Yeah. It's you when you texted me that earlier, I was hoping he changed his name.
That's a whole family of 6 killers.
Yeah, that's where do you descend from to get that name?
I mean, gotta be some badasses. That sounds like his ancestors were kicking it with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, just roaming the American West, basically. 6 killer? That's a nickname, dude. I mean, he very well could be of Native American descent or something like that, but what a name. I had to bring that up just because he genuinely scares me solely based on his name.
Yeah. Couple things I want to see, because I don't think we really need to get into the nitty-gritty of this. ECU should flat. There is no spread. There's no total. There's none of that to talk about. So you know what that means. Handle business. Handle business.
Yep.
I want to see Caden start early and often. I want him to be on time from the beginning. We need better gap discipline from the run defense. And we just need to start out of the gate. We can't start sluggish. I wish I'd have looked at the 3 and outs to start the game for ECU, because I feel like it was the first 3 possessions.
Oh, yeah.
None of that crap.
Quick.
We got a tomato can. Let's have a little fun. Don't show too much.
No.
Got a pretty big game on your schedule next week. Don't show too much. Get out to a big league. Take the starters out at halftime, and let's move on to next week.
I'd love that. The more Raheem Jeter and Mike Wright, the better.
Yeah,
this game.
this is, hey, let's see what some of these other guys on the field have to offer. And let's just hope nobody gets hurt, because we got a big game in Conway coming up next week. Debating on if I'm going or not. Completely honest.
Will not. Next week's show, I'll tell you where I'm going.
No.
There's
Nice.
a teaser. I'm going to a
Yeah.
game. It is not in the state of North Carolina.
I think I have a guess, but we'll save it.
I think I've told you.
Yeah, probably. But concussion.
You get one guess now.
I mean, I assume it's South Carolina.
No.
Oh.
I'm traveling north, buddy.
Oh yeah, you did. All right, never mind. Yeah. I think I know where you're going. But
I'm very excited.
That's all I got to say about ECU versus Campbell. Let's beat the brakes off of them.
Yep. I want to see
the backups in.
I want to see some high flying offense in the first quarter, and also enough run game to get some of these people confident in their ability to actually do so.
Yeah, so it's, you don't want to call it a live scrimmage, but it's kind of a live scrimmage.
And I don't want to come into the game with that mindset, but
no, you got to come out.
We definitely don't need to treat it that way.
No, come out trying to hunt, but this is your chance to clean some things up before you have two of your biggest games of the season.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least in my opinion. I mean, this out of conference schedule outside of Campbell is pretty stout.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see us kind of get on them early and let's have some confidence before we go into Conway and take on the Chanticleers.
Exactly. Do what we need to do the first 2.5 to 3 quarters, and then we can start experimenting if we want to. But handle business. Those are the only 2 words that need to be said.
Well, we can jump into the top 12 if you're ready.
I'm ready. Either that, or do we want to preview week 2 first?
That's up to you.
Let's do the top 12. Let's do the top 12.
All right. I have some big movement. I'll go off the rip this week. Make Zach happy one more time. My new number 1 team in the country.
Wow.
Hey, you got to give credit where credit's due. They had the best win last weekend against a team that I think is ranked very highly. This is subject to change as this is very much a little, hey, let's see week to week. But as of right now, I think LSU is the best team in the country. Number 2, I got the Nittany Lions. I don't think they didn't play Nevada the best. They still beat them by 20, I think.
They played Nevada about exactly as you'd expect a Penn State football team to play Nevada.
So I'm not going to punish them for not playing anyone. So I didn't move them at all. I think I had them at number 2. I had Clemson number 1, Penn State number 2. So I keep them at 2. I bump Ohio State up to number 3. Hey, big win's a big win. So what? It's at home. That defense is scary. Caleb Downs might be the best player in the country. I got Ohio State number 3.
He absolutely is the best player in the country, in my opinion.
Number 4, you got to give credit where credit's due. Sometimes you're wrong about things. Number 4, I got Miami. They're going to have another chance to prove themselves, I think, come week 4 when Florida comes rolling into town. But I like what I saw. That was a Notre Dame team I thought highly of. So I got them slotted at the 4 spot. Number 5, we got Oregon. I just didn't move them. I really don't have much to say about Oregon. I just didn't move them.
Yeah.
I moved them up based on who lost. Number 6, I got my Georgia Bulldogs. They just kind of slotted up because, some teams ahead of them lost. Number 7, we have a newcomer who jumped someone that was in the lead in the top 12 for me.
There we are.
Last week. I don't know why I struggled so much there. I think good wins matter, and that's why I put South Carolina at 7 for right now.
I love that.
Followed by, again, this team. These 3 or 4 teams might shuffle a good bit the next coming weeks, especially as Georgia doesn't really play anybody. Florida, not a huge test, but a formidable South Florida team comes into town this week. Let's see how Florida handles them. I got them in the 8th spot. Number 9, ASU found their way up. I think I had them at 11 last week, so that's just based on the 3 teams that lost. and South Carolina jumping them. The next 3 teams are all your teams that lost. I got Texas or Clemson at 10, Texas at 11, and Notre Dame at 12. The only reason I put Notre Dame behind the other 2 is I lost a lot of confidence in this football game or in this football team.
There you are.
And they got another big test coming up soon. And let's see if they can kind of re-earn my respect. But right now they're the one kind of slipping out of favoritism with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is, just run back through it real quick. LSU 1, Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Miami 4, Oregon 5, Georgia 6, the South Carolina Gamecocks 7, Florida 8, Arizona State 9, Clemson at the 10, Texas at the 11, and Notre Dame rounding us out at number 12.
Yeah.
Who you got, Paul?
So it's kind of funny. All my 1 through 8, like if you look at 1 and 2, and then you look at 3 and 4, then you look at 5 and 6, and then you look at 7 and 8. I realized it after I made it. Each of those little groups is where the AP has them just flipped. So my number 1, this is my opportunity to give who I believe will win the national championship this season the number 1 ranking already. Give me Penn State at number 1, but I have in parentheses next to them 1A because at number 2, right behind them, I got Ohio State at 1B. They're, for the sake of this, they're my number 2. I obviously wasn't over the moon impressed with them from an offensive standpoint necessarily, but defensively, I feel like they made Arch Manning's life hell. And holding that team to 7 points, I feel like is something that probably no other team will do this season if I had to make a guess. So
probably, I think you'd be right.
I got Ohio State at technically 2. Then I'm a little higher on your guys. I got the Georgia Bulldogs sitting at number 3 here. I like what I saw out of them. A lot of it is just by virtue of them not losing while other teams did, because I had them at 5 last week, and right ahead of them I had Texas and Clemson. So naturally they kind of move up to number 3. Right behind them is where LSU comes in at number 4. Very impressed with what I saw to that team. Nussmeier's exactly who we thought he was, and that's the best quarterback in the country. So that's going to be a fun team to watch this year. Number 5, just like you, I got the Ducks. Again, not really because of anything they did. I moved them up 1 spot from 6 to 5. Again, just because teams were losing. Right behind them, I got Miami, which is funny because it would have mean that they're it would mean that they dropped in the poll, considering where the AP had them going into last week. I liked what I saw out of them too. I had them at 10 originally and moved them up to 6. I liked what I saw out of them. Wasn't like ready to crown them as a top 2 team or whatever, but I feel like they've earned being right there at that fringe top 5. Right behind them, number 7, I have Clemson. This is where you'll start to see, just like you, this is just a little bit earlier is where I have all my teams that lost, basically. For basically everything that we've already talked about. I got Clemson, Texas, Notre Dame at 7, 8, and 9. Then is where I slot in South Carolina at number 10. I wanted to move them up, but I kind of had a JP poll thing going on in my brain. Shout out to Josh Pate, where I feel like neutral field favorability against all 3 of these teams right here that just lost, I couldn't necessarily justify putting them ahead of definitely all of them, but even over 1 or 2 of them, because I feel like Clemson, Texas, and Notre Dame, while all their games kind of went very differently in the way that they lost, I feel like they're all kind of in the same boat at the same time. So that's my reason for South Carolina. Then 11 and 12 for me, I kind of used one. I just put like my 11th team is Florida State. After what they showed me, I'm pretty high on them. Like I said earlier, I think the sky's the limit for what this team can do based on the confidence that they have and the teams that they have to navigate around. I don't necessarily think this is a playoff team come the end of the year, but I think that it's a team that could throughout the season contend for a spot in that ACC title game. And then, so obviously wanted to shout them out for what they did, but also another team that just entered the AP poll this week, which I can't believe they weren't ranked to start the season, but a team that beat the hell out of Nico and Co down at UCLA, the Utah Utes. I've already said, I think I said last week, I think this team could go 12-0. And boy, did they look every bit of 12-0 in the making on or this past weekend. So, I mean, I watched a lot of that game, and my guy Devin Dampier, I told y'all to watch out for him. He's going to be damn good, and he's already showing it this week. So I'll run through it again. I got Penn State 1, Ohio State 2, or 1B, however you want to say it. The Dogs 3, LSU 4, Oregon 5, Miami 6, Clemson 7, Texas 8, Notre Dame 9, South Cat 10, Florida State 11, and the old running Utes at 12.
Heck yeah. Well, that leads us into a lackluster week 2 slate. I guess I'll start us off kicking off at noon. Iowa State. I don't really have strong opinions either way. To be honest, personally, I'm laying off this game.
Oh, me too.
I think I like Iowa State more than I like Iowa. 3 and a hook still a little like that just seems like too much, which I know is like, dude, that's they got to win by 4. It's like, yeah, I've seen this game come down to 1 point before multiple times.
Against Iowa, 3.5 is, it might as well be 10.5 for how far away it actually feels.
Yeah.
Because this game should probably year in, year out just be a pick 'em.
Pretty much.
Even when the composition of each team is changing year in, year out, they always seem to play the exact same game, it feels like.
Pretty much.
I like Iowa State too here, just based, I mean, we've seen them play 2 games this season already, and I still don't really know how to feel about them, which is kind of concerning. But also, I came in with some sneaky expectations of Iowa just because what we saw in camp looked like potentially they can actually throw the ball. And then I don't know if it was game plan or what, but Gronowski goes out and put lackluster numbers out on the box score, which again is all great. That's all I saw from Iowa in week 1 was the box score. So I don't really have a whole lot of basis to that part necessarily, but I agree with you. I feel like it's Iowa State in a toit one.
Next to arguably, I guess the biggest game of the week, Oklahoma and Michigan. It's going to give away something when we get to the picks here in a second, but
I just realized I forgot to write my picks down.
I didn't watch Oklahoma play. What was it, Illinois State? But there's someone that I highly respect, and if you like ball and want to learn more about just general like X's and O's, you should check out Brooks Austin.
Absolutely.
Well, he highlighted something about Oklahoma that I thought was a little fascinating. If you go watch the tape or watch the highlights, I don't even think you need to watch the tape to see it. It's that apparent. OU's O-line got whooped.
Yeah.
By Illinois State. I don't know much about Michigan's defense, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say they're probably better than the Illinois State Cardinals defense. Just a guess.
Redbirds, first of all. Second of all.
Is it Redbirds?
Yeah. Second of all, I agree with you.
I don't think it's a bold statement.
No.
But I'm just going to go out and just put my name on the line here and just say I think Michigan's defense is a little bit better.
That's big of you. I'm proud of you for
me too.
Putting that
it
out
took
there.
A lot for me to get that out. That being said, I also watched a little tape on Bryce Underwood. That kid can sling it.
He can play. He can play.
And not to say that the Oklahoma quarterback's bad. He leaves a lot of balls arm side.
and he can airmail some guys, and it usually leads to an interception. Michigan's a physical on brand is a physical football team. I expect nothing different. I like Michigan in this game.
I don't really like either team in this game, if I'm being completely honest with you. I struggle to find the excitement in two teams that went 6-6 last year.
Fair.
But I know there's a lot of newness to these teams, and so that is exciting. I will be watching this game. I'm kind of just playing it up a little bit. But I feel like if I had to be on anybody, for reasons that you've already stated, I feel like Michigan's just going to out physical Oklahoma. And I don't necessarily think Sharon Moore is a very good coach at all. I really don't think Brent Venables is that great of a head coach. His time at Oklahoma has been miserable. And I just feel like this is a classic Venables game to lose.
Yeah.
That's really all I have, honestly.
We'll get to your two games you want to. Well, yeah, your two games you want to talk about.
Do I have two games?
Missouri versus Kansas.
I was gonna say I got one game, and it's the border war. Let me throw some numbers at you, which I'm pissed because I wrote all this down like right before I was about to leave work. Jump in the truck.
It's in Farmville.
I hit pause on or I hit play on Unnecessary Roughness from where I was listening to it earlier, and T-Bob Abear, that bastard, immediately starts going into all these fun facts and stats about the border war and everything. But I'll do it anyways. First time since 2011 that these two teams have played, which is bananas because like growing up as a kid, I feel like I remember this game be like last week of the season.
Big 12. Yeah, it was the last game.
Big 12. This like it was what 2008 or 2007.
2007.
This game,
Yeah.
Well, I know in 07 both teams were good, but I think in 08 they were both good too. And like this game like meant something. Like,
Yeah.
Kansas football, for those of you that don't know, for a solid like year, and I'd say give it a couple weeks on either side of the seasons before and after, was a damn good football team. And Mizzou was a really damn good football team. And so I loved this. Like I love everything about this rivalry. Do you know what the record is between these two teams over the course of this rivalry's history?
How many games played?
Let's see. Let me do some counting real quick. That is 120. It looks like.
Oh God. Let's go 72. No, I don't like that. Scratch that. I go 65-55 Missouri.
Missouri does have the lead. Listen to this. 57, 54, and 9 ties.
I don't ever think about the damn ties.
Yeah, but still, take those out. 57 and 54.
Yeah.
Is the record, which T-Bob's numbers, he said 56 and 55. I looked on Winsipedia and got my numbers from there, and that's how I got 57, 54, and 9. Whichever one it is, it's within 2 games played of each other, so that's crazy. And what's funny is Mizzou, they're up 57-54, that 3-game difference. They've won the last 3 games too, which is just hilarious. But moving on from that, insight about the actual game itself, I feel like this game is going to come down to the quarterback run game. And I don't think that that's necessarily something that bodes well for Kansas. Jalen Daniels, and I'm not verbatim, but kind of echoing what I heard Josh Pate say, is that Jalen Daniels, naturally, as everyone knows, is going to get his. You have a name that sounds close enough to Jaden Daniels, you're going to get yours on the ground. That's just how it works. But Bo Prabula had a pretty solid game on the ground too in Mizzou's opener. And Kansas has some beat up linebackers, from what I'm hearing. Mizzou does not necessarily have that problem. I feel like Prabula might be able to turn this game on its head just using his feet alone, not to mention how good both of these quarterbacks looked throwing the ball last week too. Excuse me. But I don't know. That being said, I still am on the fence with where I lean this game. I want to say I lean probably just a hair Mizzou. But this Kansas team, I mean, I think if they get through this game, sky's the limit for them. I've said sky's the limit for a lot of teams so far, but you talk about a Kansas Jayhawks football program, first border war in 14 years. That's a lot to hang your hat on and move forward with the rest of the season with some swagger.
Yeah, I mean, I think
especially because it's at Mizzou.
This Kansas team can be good. It just relies on one thing, and it's Daniel staying healthy, and that's been a problem for him throughout his career. I lean Mizzou because I think Mizzou might sneak into the playoffs at 10-2 because Paul,
think they could too.
They ain't played nobody, Paul.
They ain't played nobody.
Ain't played nobody. We can talk about the next game, or we can skip it and go into picks. It's really not that good of a football game.
Which game? I'm curious because I don't have it written.
Florida
down.
USF.
Oh yeah. Also, there is another game I want to briefly touch on, but I don't really have much to talk about it.
Go ahead.
But I'll get to Florida USF first. Let me. All right.
You can just spout your USF.
So when we're picking the Boise State USF game last week, right? I want you to kind of remind me of the notions that you were giving out and your predictions kind of for that game.
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit about how I thought they would be a good team in the AAC. I didn't think they'd be able to, compete with the Tulanes and the Memphises of the world. And
and definitely not Boise
they lost
State
Genty, but Boise State's still going to be good this year.
Yeah.
And they got throat kicked.
34-7 on your head, Miller. Who told y'all USF was going to go in there and beat Boise?
I did not have a good week one in the show.
Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, throughout the entire from Thursday through the Sunday games, I didn't have a good weekend either from a monetary perspective, or a good weekend. Damn if I didn't tell you that was about to happen. Nebraska tried to ruin my credibility, but they
See, I counted
it
that
out.
as a loss because I went back and looked at what the spread was, and I was like, did I have the money line ticket? Yes, but it was 5.5, and I'm counting it as a loss.
Hey, all I said was they were going to win. But back to USF, watch out. I'm not saying they're going to beat Florida. What's the number right now?
I think it's 17.5. I think.
Oh, the problem is it's still too early in the season for Billy Napier to remember that he's not a good coach. So
it usually happens around like week 6 or 7.
Exactly. So I feel like Florida's probably going to win that game. That number is enticing, though. 17.5.
I'm glad it was enticing to you because I saw it and went, yep, nope, I'm still good. I'm still good.
I'm not saying I'm playing it, but I'm not saying I'm avoiding it like the plague. That's.
What's the other game you got? Because I ain't got.
I wanted to touch on Mississippi State, Arizona State.
Didn't even realize they were playing.
I think this might shake up the Big 12 a little bit, just to put it lightly. Let's see. Yep, 7:30 kickoff in Starkville. Arizona State comes in around a touchdown favorite. 6.5 is the number I'm seeing right now.
That's all they're getting. How did I slide right past?
Somebody knows something.
What do you know, buddy? What did Brandon Walker whisper in your ear?
No. I'm saying somebody that lives in Las Vegas, Nevada knows something. If that number is that short, I know it's a road game in an SEC stadium, but if Arizona State's all that they're being cracked up to be, that feels like a 10-ish point spread, which maybe they're given the field goal for it being an away game, but I don't know. I kind of like Mississippi State in this game. I cannot lie to you.
If you say so. I have no strong opinion, considering I
Again,
found out about this game like 20 seconds ago.
no opinion. I haven't even really provided an opinion, but whatever I've said right there isn't a strong feeling at all. But that's one to watch out for. That is, in my opinion, a very notable game that's happening this week.
There could be your television game of the week, which is any game played in Starkville any time of the year.
Any game remotely involving cowbells, volume all the way off. I would like to see it in person, but TV, I'm good.
I don't even. No, I'm good. I don't need more cowbell.
I'll go. I'll always need more cowbell. But that's all I had on that. Honestly, I just wanted to bring attention to it.
Yep. Well, we can run into the picks here.
I don't know if you know what you went last week. I went 2-3.
I don't. I can try to find out what picks did I even get? I can't even remember.
That was the other struggle I had, and then I looked through various sports books and went, "Oh, I only placed like 5 bets anyways," and I'm pretty sure I gave they were all placed on Wednesday of last week. So
yeah. Well, I know I had at least 2 because I had USF and Nebraska on Thursday.
Yep.
I know I had Georgia Tech.
You had Georgia Tech, which was a win. You had ECU spread, did you not?
Yes, I did.
That's a win.
I bet Baylor. I don't know if I said it on the show or not.
L.
That's a fat L. But
so did I.
We'll get to them. Hold on.
Comeback spot.
I don't know. Did we pick the Ohio State Texas game at all?
I think. I mean, we might have talked about it and given a pick, but I didn't bet it.
I mean, I bet player props and then mistakenly sprinkled in a Texas money line. Not mistakenly, I did it on purpose, but it didn't work out. I think that's all I had. I'm just looking at stuff that I kind of just did on a whim now. But so I think, what did that come out to? I guess 4-1.
Good on you, buddy. I'll let you take the reins then. You can rip your picks.
No, I need you to go first because I forgot to write them down and I lost them, so I got to find them again.
All right. Well, I'll start with an opinion I gave a couple minutes ago. Michigan plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. Michigan's got the better quarterback. They're more physical. OU's offensive line could not block against what I believe is an FCS school.
Yeah.
Give me Michigan getting 5.5. I don't care if it's on the road and the kid's a true freshman. I think a lot of people are going to learn that Bryce Underwood is a baller this weekend, and give me Michigan plus 5.5.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm going to take a team that lost, but I thought looked good in their loss against Tennessee last week, playing the UConn Huskies at home. They get them in the dome, man. Give me Syracuse laying 6.5.
Interesting.
JMU.
Interesting.
At Louisville.
I'm there too.
I don't know a ton about JMU other than they are one of the better group of 5 schools. I know Louisville's a little overhyped in the ACC, but they still score points. Not touching the spread. I like the over here at 55.5.
Okay.
A lot of people are high on Illinois. Illinois laid an egg.
Yeah.
Last week. You know who's not a bad football team and isn't talked about and probably shouldn't be talked about, but they got a damn good quarterback.
You're going to have to say it because I can't.
The Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Give me the Duke Blue Devils getting 3.5 against Iowa.
There you go.
And to end it, my number that doesn't make sense game of the week. If I told you, well, what would you guess the spread of Ole Miss going to Kentucky is?
Oh, I heard about this. It was like single digits, was it not? Or like right around 10 maybe?
Single digits.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is an 8.5 point favorite.
8.5?
8.5 against Kentucky. And I know everyone, Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year.
So
That was
what?
last year, Jack.
So what?
Give me the 8.5.
Oh,
This is a 3-score.
can-
Ole Miss is going to wipe the floor with Kentucky's sorry
I was about to
ass.
say, you can double the spread, and I'd still take
And
it.
I'd
You can give me
still
an
take
even
it at probably
17.
16.5.
If you put it
So-
to an even 17, I think at worst I'm pushing.
So yeah, give me Ole Miss minus the 8.5. Just to run through it quick one more time. Michigan plus 5.5. Syracuse minus 6.5. JMU at Louisville over 55.5. Duke plus 3.5 and Ole Miss minus 8.5.
There you go. So I got
Yeah,
a couple games that you had. 4 of my I had a few more picks earlier. These are the first 5 that I got to. Potentially, I'll throw out some on the Twitter account or something if I feel any hard locks, or if I find any between now and Saturday. If you're going to tail any of these, do it quickly because these first 4 all kick off by 12:05 Eastern time on Saturday. One of them's Friday, and that's where we'll get to right now. You brought up the James Madison Louisville game. I don't really have much to say about this aside from what you already said, which is Louisville might be a little overhyped. James Madison, one of the better teams in the group of 5. A lot of people's playoff pick out of the group of 5. I think this could be a sketchy spot for Louisville. Give me the 14.5 for James Madison. I think it's probably
like
close. I think it's close, but it's
You
within
have
the
bigger
number.
brass ones than me.
Hey,
That's why I went with the over.
I know. I'm just saying. I think it might could squeak into the number. Second, I lied to y'all about Baylor Baylor last week.
He gonna lie to you again.
No, we're making it right this week. Baylor money line at SMU. Not as high on SMU as a lot of people are. I feel like Baylor. This is the spot where they do what they were supposed to do last week, which was at least be a little bit more competitive against Auburn. They just were just barely out of reach, but I think that they're all up in this game, if not in the lead.
I shied away.
So.
I shied away from that one just because I was like, Baylor looked bad last week, and I don't know jack about SMU other than that they're overrated.
Robertson though didn't really look that bad though, and if he can just get some sort of defensive help, then I think. Which I mean, all in all, I don't think Baylor played bad. I just think they were ho hum compared to what I thought they were going to be, and it obviously cost them that game. They lost by 2 touchdowns. So, but I think when I think of SMU and Auburn, I feel like I'd probably honestly at this point, even though SMU is a ranked team right now, I'd probably play SMU on the road than Auburn at home. So. Maybe that's a hot take, but that's how I feel in this very moment, and that's what we're going with. Again, give me Baylor money line because that's like a 2.5 point spread, so I might as well just take the win. Iowa State. The fact that this over's above 40, no, under 41.5. Next. Do they really think? Because that's a tight spread. Do they really think that both teams are going to score in the neighborhood of 20 points? There's no shot. This is a 13-10 game at best. If someone scores 20 points, I'll figure out some punishment that I'll do on next week's show. You brought up UConn Syracuse, and I told you how interesting it was. Syracuse, I know they looked pretty decent against Tennessee. There were some good positives to take away from that game. Not in this one. UConn plus 6.5. I like this UConn team a lot. And so it feels, it's a classic Big East matchup, which I'll get to that in a second because I think this is, actually I'll just talk about it now. I think this is one of the more nostalgic uniform matchups of the week just because I miss Big East football. But I like this UConn team a lot. I think with their schedule and how kind of cakey it is for the most part, I could see this UConn team going over their win total, which I think was at 8.5. So it would not at all surprise me if they went on the road and covered a touchdown basically at Syracuse. And then finally, a team that I am quite fond of and have been for a while, especially their mascot. And I'm going to get to the helmets that they're wearing this week when they play at Toledo. I like Western Kentucky a lot. I've been bitten by the bug again, and I think Toledo
bug.
Toledo was supposed to be potentially the class of the MAC. I know at least one of the small handful of teams vying to win that conference. They did not look very good against what both of us think is a sorry ass Kentucky team.
Yeah,
I think they lost by 10 to 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Which any team losing to Kentucky that bad? No, thank you.
No.
Give me Western Kentucky on the road to cover 7.5. They might win that game outright, but 7.5 feels like a giant number for what I think that game is going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
And that's my 5.
Well, if you guys that are watching, whether it be on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, have any questions, anything you want to get off your chest, any picks, call us morons, feel free to leave it in the chat right as
please do that.
We wrap it up here and Paul gets into his jersey matchups of the week. But also on that subject, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed or followed or whatever you do on that platform, go do that. Give us a like, give us a retweet if you're on Twitter, like the video if you're on YouTube, leave a comment, tell a friend, anything to kind of just grow the brand here.
Follow
subscribe.
on Twitter if you're not already.
Yeah.
You know what all of those things are?
Free
99, brother.
And even if you just want to come on here and be like, hey, Jacob, you're a moron. Hey, Paul, you're a moron. Cool. Whatever. We just want to talk Paul.
Fine. Hey, you know what? We'll probably agree with you.
You're probably at least 60% of the time not wrong.
It doesn't cost you anything, and it does nothing but help us. So we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
We don't ask for much.
Just give us a follow. Tell a friend.
Exactly.
Like, comment, subscribe, retweet, all that good jazz. But as we wrap it up here, Paul, what you got for the jersey matchups of the week?
Let's do it. All right, so we'll start off with a bunch of different helmets that I've seen. And again, I'm probably missing a couple things here. I'm really not sure, but the high points that I saw, Wake new helmet this year, going back to the glossy helmets, the glossy blacks with gold script deeks on the side. They're going to look damn good losing to Whistle Dick Tech this week, but whoever they play. But that's a pretty sweet helmet. UTEP, sweet new alt helmet. Sun City, cool font on the side. It's got a cool little graphic and everything. It's navy with some orange accents, which is just such a good color combo. And they usually do it pretty well. I've always liked UTEP's unis. Washington State, shout out our guy Chris. White helmet, just kind of block wazoo. It's sick. What are these noises going on, by the way?
Huh?
I heard some crazy noises coming through my headphones right now.
Oh, I don't know. Am I too close to the mic?
No, it might be me for all I know. I might just be making like Teletubbies noises over here. Speaking of Western Kentucky, they're bringing back their red throwbacks with the interlocking WKU. One of my favorite looks in college football is whatever Western Kentucky decides to throw out this week. Such a good aesthetic that they got. They're bringing back one of their throwback helmets. And my helmet of the week, we're dipping our toes into the FCS here. Former FBS, the Idaho Vandals with their fighting taters helmet.
Well, yeah, you showed them to me.
So good. I know you saw it, but for those that didn't see, go ahead and look up the Idaho Fighting Taters helmet. It is glorious, and
it's good work.
I saw a tweet from them that they're making merch. We'll see. Couple good unis to look out for this week. Just kind of one-off things, not matchups necessarily, but SMU bringing back the Dallas jerseys with the matching helmet and all that. It's the blue iteration. Usually when they do the white helmet, it's a red face mask, which I think looks better, but they're going with the royal blue. Even still, one of the best looks in college football. And then Rice is bringing back the baby blues, which I think look sweet. It's all baby blue and navy blue, aside from the number outline is red, and it looks sweet. All right, now our matchups. One that's just so pleasing to the eye, and we touched on how good it is to have this game back earlier. Kansas, Missouri is going to be beautiful. That is going to be such a good aesthetic game. I kind of wish it was at Kansas because I think that would make it a little bit better. With Kansas wearing blue and whatnot. There'll be enough blue and then enough Mizzou black and yellow. So that'll be cool to watch. My old head matchup of the week is naturally Oklahoma, Michigan.
I was like, it can't be anything else.
That's one for the old guys. And then I touched on earlier UConn, Syracuse. It's just going to look right. It's just going to look – these teams, I don't know why they're not in the same – I know exactly why they're not in the same conference anymore, but it sucks that they're not. But I'm happy that we're getting just one of these classic Big East games. And then Oregon, Oklahoma State. Oregon's going all green. I haven't seen Oklahoma State's uni combo this week. Wouldn't surprise me if they went all orange, just because why not? Two big Nike schools. So whatever they end up wearing is going to look good and offset Oregon's all green pretty well, I think. So those are your aesthetics to look for this weekend, and I believe that's all I got.
Well, I think that'll do it. A little light this show. Should be a better slate week 3.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Being said, thanks for watching the Down East Sports Show, college football show. This has been week 2. Let's go beat the shit out of Campbell.
Let's be the straw that breaks the camel's back. How about that?
Well, I can't think of a better way to end it right there than that, Paul. That does it here for us. We'll see you next. You want to do Thursday again?
I can't do Thursday. Wednesday?
We'll see you next Wednesday at 8. I'll probably work better with the NFL going on.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Thanks for watching. Let's go Pirates, and we'll see y'all next week.